right, so there's a guy, a philosopher called Thomas Hobbes, no relation to Calvin, and he said that every man was born selfish, but obviously he was wrong, because 300 years later, I was born, and all I cared about was making other people happy. Yeah, that's sweet. So then one day, my girlfriend of 5 years asked if we could have an open relationship, and I know what you're thinking, and no, you can't have her phone number. But this wasn't so crazy because I'd actually already agreed to it once before. See, I thought in a relationship it was all about making compromises, you know? If she was happy, then I was happy, right? Well, it turns out that works maybe in the short term, and then in the long term there's sort of some unintended consequences that can creep up. It's not that big of a stretch to go from honey, what do you want? What do you want to watch tonight? And then before you know it, you're like watching Dawson's Creek with her every week, and you're, and then you're letting her sleep with other guys. So, this is TMI. So, I was going to give this presentation about how counterpoint to the previous one and say selfish people can save the world, but this podium is about truth. So, I'm just going to tell you what a bunch of idiots selfless people are. So. 10 selfless people who accidentally changed the world for the worse. The ladies from the previous presentation gave me some great ideas, and I'm going to steal them for my own selfishly. Number 10, Richard Gatling. He's like, hey, in wars, lots of people die from disease, so if we reduce the number of people in our armies, then less people will die. So he invented a machine where one man could do the killing for many. That was a really bad idea, obviously. So Robert Oppenheimer came along and thought, if I just create something so insane that nobody will dare challenge it or ever use it and will prevent all future wars, he sort of overestimated whether or not we would use that technology. Number 8, sometimes we try and save ourselves from ourselves with things like motorcycle helmet laws, and what happens when you institute these is the organ donations drop dramatically because there's lots of young males who are healthy and now surviving crashes. This guy thought he was doing legitimate science with ice pick lobotomies, and I'm really sorry about this slide. It is a big downer. So we're moving right along. This guy wanted to save elephants, so instead of making billiard balls out of ivory, we can make them out of plastic. And we now have a floating island in the Pacific that's twice the size of the United States, made out of plastic. Yeah. So this guy was actually out in that ocean analyzing seismic data, and then he realized, hey, my invention could allow rappers to sing, and he invented auto-tune. All right, this guy was never going to make any money from his invention because he lived in Russia and it would be co-opted by the motherland. But we've lost over 700,000 man-years of labor from his invention. It's Tetris. This guy invented this thing called the Action Office. It was designed to promote creativity and like flexibility. And immediately, people like took his design and scrunched it down into the monstrosity that is the modern office cubicle. This guy thought that ammonia was dangerous as a refrigerant, and he may have been right, but Freon, which he invented to replace it, was way worse. And we all almost died from the hole in the ozone layer. I realize that's just missing clouds and does not represent anything, but... Then we got this guy, I mean, the most selfless of all. He's like Santa Claus every single day of the year, and that's not before he's even responding to individual requests from fans of various teams. Go USA. And... Anyway, lots of people have been killing each other over his name for years. So, this slide isn't very descriptive, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it. Anyway, if my story of getting pinned between, you know, my girlfriend and this other guy or guys did nothing for you for some cold, heartless reason, maybe some of those slides did illuminate. But we all have a choice, and that's whether it's to live for ourselves or for someone else. And I've done both. And there's no question, you know, which one I choose. It seems like putting everybody else ahead of you is the right way to live. But, you know, I found out because one day I woke up and, like, I just wasn't the person that I thought I was anymore. Like, I was a totally different person, and I wasn't the person that she wanted to love. So there's a lot of unhappy people in this world. And so I'm asking you to be a little more selfish because... because you can't truly love someone else until you love yourself. And that is all.